The skies of Aurelian Prime were burning again. The once blue atmosphere had turned crimson under the relentless assault of the Xatheran Armada. For 3 long days the allied coalition of 12 worlds had fought and failed to hold the line. Now the cities lay in ruin. The civilians of Aurelian hid beneath the broken domes praying for salvation. But the fleet that had promised to defend them, the same coalition that once hailed humans as reckless emotional primitives, had fled, all except one small human vessel, the UHS Valiant. Captain Mara Keen stood on the bridge of her ship, the flames of the dying planet reflecting in her dark eyes. Her crew of 60 humans watched her in silence, their faces pale but determined. "Command says Aurelian is lost," said Lieutenant Rowe. "They ordered all surviving fleets to retreat to Centauri Gate. Then they can run," Mara said. "We are staying." The bridge went silent again. Everyone knew what staying meant. The Valiant was an old destroyer, no match for the massive Xatheran dreadnoughts descending from orbit. But Captain Rowe whispered, "We will be branded traitors if we defy orders again." Mara smiled faintly. "They already call us that. Lieutenant might as well earn the name." Outside, the enemy fleet descended through the firestorm. The Valiant rose to meet them, one human ship against a sky full of monsters. As the first plasma bolts streaked past, Mara's voice echoed across the ship. "They abandoned these people. We will not arm the railguns. Prepare for ground defense drop pods." Every man and woman aboard the Valiant knew this might be their final stand. But when the order came, no one hesitated. The ship's engines roared, slicing through the clouds of ash. The humans dived into the heart of the battlefield, dropping pods toward the last surviving Aurelian shelters. Down below, the alien civilians looked up through shattered glass domes and gasped. The humans had come. Not the proud fleets of the coalition, not the empires that had sworn eternal protection. Only the traitorous humans defying orders, risking everything. And in that moment, hope, fragile, impossible hope, returned to Aurelian Prime. As the Valiant's guns thundered, Mara whispered into the comms, "For every world that was left behind, we will stand." The war had abandoned them, but humanity never abandoned anyone. The night on Aurelian Prime burned brighter than the day. The UHS Valiant moved between the wreckage of fallen cities, raining metal storms on the Xatheran legions below. The humans fought not for glory, but for those who had been left to die. Captain Mara Keen stood beside the tactical screen. Her voice was calm, but her eyes carried fire status reports. She asked, "Hull integrity at 40%. Shields failing, but railguns still online," Lieutenant Rowe answered. "Good, keep firing," she said softly. The Valiant was now the only ship in orbit. Every other vessel either destroyed or running. Mara watched as explosions dotted the horizon. The planet was becoming a graveyard. Yet the humans refused to leave. On the ground, Sergeant Vale and his squad had landed near the eastern shelter. Hundreds of alien refugees stared at them in disbelief. Some whispered that humans had come to save them. Others cried and fell to their knees. Vale raised his rifle toward the sky and said, "Stay behind us, we will hold them." From the darkness came the screech of metal claws. The Xatherans charged through, smoke and flame towering, beasts with black armor and burning eyes. The humans opened fire, their rifles spat light into the shadows, turning monsters to ash. For hours they fought. Every minute bought another family a chance to escape to the shelters. Mara guided them from orbit, sending supply pods and air support. Then came a transmission crackling through static. It was from the Coalition Command. "U.S. Valiant, you are ordered to retreat immediately. You are violating command protocol and risking political balance." Mara stared at the signal in silence. The crew waited for her to respond. "Tell them," Mara said, "that humanity does not abandon the innocent. Tell them the traitors are the ones who run." The crew cheered as the Valiant turned its guns toward the largest enemy cruiser. The ship shook under the return fire, but the humans pressed on. Down below, Sergeant Vale shouted over the comms, "We are losing ground, Captain." "Hold the line, Vale," Mara replied. "Reinforcements are coming." But they both knew no one was coming. As dawn broke, the battlefield was silent. Smoke covered the stars. The Valiant floated in orbit, burning but still alive. Its signal reached across the galaxy. A message simple yet powerful. Humanity stands where others flee. The sun rose over Aurelian Prime, a faint glow breaking through the thick clouds of ash. The air was silent except for the distant hum of burning metal. The humans were still there, broken, exhausted, but alive. Captain Mara Keen stood on the bridge of the UHS Valiant watching the horizon. The ship was barely holding together. Fire burned across its hull, and half of its systems were gone, but messages from the surface kept coming. Aurelian civilians were alive. The shelters were holding because of them. Lieutenant Rowe approached. Captain, the Zitharan main dreadnought is preparing another orbital strike. If it fires, the planet will be lost. Mara looked at the flickering image of the dreadnought, a shadow the size of a mountain. In orbit above them, her voice was calm. We cannot stop it with weapons. The only way is to ram the core. The crew stared at her in silence. They all understood what that meant. One by one, the humans nodded. No one spoke, no one argued. On the ground, Sergeant Vale watched the skies as the Valiant began to climb higher through the clouds. The aliens around him pointed upward, tears in their glowing eyes. The human ship looked like a star rising toward the heavens. Inside the Valiant, the corridors glowed red as power surged to the engines. Mara touched the control panel, softly whispering to herself, "For every life we saved, it was worth it." The ship accelerated straight toward the dreadnought. The Zitharans fired everything. Plasma storms and ion bursts, tearing pieces off the human vessel. Still, the Valiant pushed forward, fire trailing behind like a comet of hope. Rowe turned to his captain. "Last words, ma'am." Mara smiled. "Tell them the traitors never forgot what it means to be human." The Valiant struck the dreadnought head on. The explosion lit the sky brighter than 1,000 suns. A wave of light swept over the planet, tearing through the enemy fleet. The Zitharans fell one by one, their systems collapsing as the shockwave burned through their cores. When the light faded, the battlefield was quiet. The dreadnought was gone. The human ship, too, only ashes drifting among the stars. On Aurelian Prime, every survivor looked up into the silent sky. They knew the humans had saved them. They built a monument of shining metal beneath the same stars and carved into it simple words. Only the traitorous humans came to the rescue. And through every world of the galaxy, the legend spread. Humanity had fallen, but its fire never died.